So Bole Baba Ki Jai. Welcome to today's Satsang. And I'm Ramloti, and I'm from the Haidakhandi Universal Ashram in Crestone, Colorado, United States. And there's people here from around the world, which is always really lovely to see our friends. It's amazing. And our topic today is also very special. It's love. So we've heard many times that Babaji's taught us to live lives of truth, simplicity, and love. And we spoke about truth and simplicity. And now we're moving to love. And one of the definitions I've heard about love is that if you live in truthfulness and simple, that it often leads to understanding more deeply what love is. And I have a suspicion that each person on the Zoom today has been touched by the love of Babaji. And I'm hoping that many people will share their stories of love. So it's a special time together. To speak, you do have to unmute. So thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Pujari and see if he has some opening words for us on love. Oh, surprise.
Love you all. That's the easy way to express some human love. When I pondered Ramloti, when I first saw Babaji and his young pictures, I was so amazed. It's just a serene yogi appearance in his first, let's say, 3-4 years. How Babaji came into this world like an empty baby, you can say, just like 3 months old, pure, clean awareness, like this is Satchitananda. It was not so much an expression of love, but expression of the purity of an immortal yogi. And then slowly, from this serene form of being pure consciousness, he moved. You see the first pictures when he just touches a flower and makes a connection with, you could say, the outside world. Before he was like connected with the whole universe, like a baby of 2 months old who has no border. For me, in those pictures, Babaji looks like that innocent connection to the universe, although in a grown-up and aware body. And then slowly, when he picks up a flower, or I see these first photos when he has a child on his lap, without words, he slowly, that Satchitananda, the love vibe, starts to come through that body. And I think in the next 10 years, that just got more intense as we approached him, Indians and Westerners alike. He started to vibrate and mirror our conditioning, but also responding to the love which is also in all of us available, but so clouded by our personalities. And at times, for my own experience, it broke through that the Pujari I thought there was gone, and then there was an incredible opening of melting with Baba's love until the level I could manage, which was not so much in Baba's time, I must say. Many times I was too overwhelmed to be very long close to him. But it is definitely a connection of love, human love. Babaji slowly showed us how human love can look like in a still a divine way, without attachment, without wanting anything from the other. So a very sweet and playful love Babaji exposed us to. And that's so attractive because you see that only in children. But Baba had that all these, let's say, 14 years of his incarnation, this joyful, happy transmission of also human love, I can call it. Because the Satchitananda is like a whole other dimension of the, I don't know, difficult to speak about. And that's for me also not so much the love that we try to get to. If the me and mine gets out of the way, this quietness opens up in which we can experience a lot of this beauty, melting with a partner or melting with any human being or melting with nature. If we truly get quiet, something magical opens up for all of us. And I think that's the ground of truly relating and get connected with the source of the love. Because I don't know where to go with love. It's such a beautiful topic. Because with Babaji, if he communicated with us these last years, he was so bubbly and joyful and playful. And I think that's a big lesson for us. He's also said, don't be afraid to express the joy of life. And he was very good at it. So that are my first sharings about this beautiful topic.
Thank you, Pujari.
Yeah, very, very welcome.
Hi, Gayatri.
Morning, guys. Morning, everybody.
Morning. Yeah, happy you're on.
Yeah. We were supposed to have a Samaj meeting at 9, so I had to change that because, yeah.
Nice.
We'll try not to conflict in the future if you
Yeah.
guys stick to every other week.
Thanks. Thanks.
Hallo alle miteinander, Jay Mahamaya Ki Jay.
Jay.
Mein Name ist Dieter Jahnke und ich spreche kein Deutsch und Englisch, kein Englisch und verstehe auch kein Englisch. Ich bin hier, falls, spricht jemand Deutsch?
Ja,
ich spreche Deutsch.
Ja, Folgendes, vom Pujari weiß ich es. Sollte jemand Fragen haben, deswegen bin ich heute das erste Mal auch hierbei, sollte jemand Fragen haben zum Thema Babajis Buch, die Sri Sadashiva Charitamrita, dann kann ich dazu was sagen, weil Babaji mir das Buch ans Herz gelegt hat und das Buch demnächst fertig ist.
Wow.
Das wollte ich sagen.
Ich kenne, hallo, das ist Biggie. Ich kenne das Buch gar nicht. Könnten Sie das mal einfach nochmal irgendwie den Titel geben? In den Chat schreiben?
Ja, der Titel ist Sri Sadashiva Charitamrita und übersetzt heißt das Buch das Wesen vom Wandel und Wesen des Göttlichen. Vom Wandel und Wesen des Göttlichen. Ich schreibe das hier unten nochmal rein.
Ja, gerne.
Shall I give a little bit explanation in English, Dieter? About the book. Yeah, Dieter has been working with a very special scholar professor on translating a very, like maybe 700-page book that Shastriji, our old Shastriji, wrote in a trance-like state, that he saw the heavens, how these different lokas, these different areas in the lokas and gods and goddesses were playing out, and how Babaji played a role in that, and how Babaji would play a role if he would come in a physical body. And the last chapter of that is a chapter about yoga for this time. It's a very big, beautiful work that is now being translated, but it's a huge book, and many ashrams, they have it in their temple as a big book. And so now they are working on the translation. I'm only wondering if it's only in German, the translation, or if it is also in English coming out. I'm sure they work on both of it, but that's for the near future. So Dieter, ich habe gesagt, das ist ein bisschen darüber geredet, und ich wundere, ob es auch in Englisch übersetzt wird, oder ist es nur auf Deutsch?
Also es ist auf Deutsch jetzt vollständig übersetzt bis auf 30 Seiten. Und die nächste Aufgabe wird sein, beziehungsweise dann jemanden zu suchen, der das Buch verlegt, also ein Buchverlag, damit es gekauft werden kann. damit die Gelder, die dann reinkommen für die nächste Übersetzung, nämlich ins Englische oder wer auch immer, die Russen haben sich angemeldet, die Polen haben sich angemeldet, Amerikaner haben sich angemeldet, Franzosen, dass es dann als nächstes, weil es dann die englische Sprache ins Englisch übersetzt wird. Der nächste Schritt ist, wie gesagt, eine Veröffentlichung, eine Buchveröffentlichung. Und die Gelder, die dann reinkommen, dann soll eine englische Übersetzung stattfinden.
Okay, Dieter, danke dir soweit. Jetzt müssen wir, ich glaube, weitergehen, wie dieses Satsang is about Liebe. So this Satsang is about love. But thank you for the information. Danke für die Information über das Buch. Das wird sicherlich durch all die Ashrams gehen und auf die Website gesehen werden, wenn das fertig ist.
Genau.
Aber du darfst mitmachen, aber wir gehen in Englisch.
Ja.
Und das Topic von heute Tag ist Liebe.
Ja,
So,
schön, wunderbar.
I would like to bring it back to that theme. Ramloti, I give it to you, or whoever wants to share something about the
I'm
theme.
just curious, Boo, were you speaking German? Boo, do you speak German?
I speak pretty good German. Like you Italian, I speak German.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah.
Holly,
Germany is next door to Holland, so.
Okay.
so thank you. Yeah, I look forward to that translation, and we can learn more about it when it happens. Hiraman or Gayatri, do either of you have a story that comes up for you about love?
A story will arrive, but I wanted to read something that somebody posted on our WhatsApp, Nina posted, that I thought, did you guys see this morning? In Nishta leads to Bhakti. So Nishta is devotion and allegiance. Nisha leads to Bhakti. Bhakti, when mature, becomes Bhava. So Bhakti is emotion. And Bhava, when concentrated, becomes Mahabhava. Mahabhava is the supreme emotion. And last of all is Prema. Prema is like a cord. By Prema, God is bound to the devotee and he can no longer run away. So Prema is pure love. So I thought that was really beautiful. I had never seen that written before. And I got that this morning right before the call. So I thought somehow it had something to do with it. Maybe she was putting it because she knew we were going to be talking about that this morning.
Maybe so.
I have just actually when I was there, of course, we all were madly crazy in love with Babaji. He just exuded so much love, and through that presence was so also glorious and beautiful. You couldn't help but just be also mesmerized by him, even like who said, a little afraid. But after the experience, I really thought I was going to be like a nun, like a yogini, they call it in India, where I was just his, like that I was no longer going to seek marriage or children, family life, that I belong to God, sort of. And it was a love story for me. So I went on like that for a little while. I wore this snake ring that was gold, and it was a snake around the finger you would wear a wedding ring. And all of a sudden, through different dreams and just kind of mulling over my whole teaching, and just also with age, just getting a little bit more mature, I felt Babaji was communicating to me that this way of viewing it was Maya, was an illusion. This feeling of love for him, though it wasn't bad or anything. It was an obstacle in my path of realization because there were two. It created me and him. And so I was in a ceremony with Pujari in Spain, and we were uniting different fires from different paths, Buddhist, Native American, and the Duni from India. And I had a realization in that ceremony. And when during the ceremony, the head of the snake fell off. And it was a gold ring. There was no way the head of the snake was falling off, but it was lying on the ground, caught, like just caught. And I just understood that we are one. I mean, love is love, but it doesn't have an object. And because I was loving him, that was an obstacle to my realization of who I am. And so I felt he was asking me to give up that whole story of love for him and devotion to him, and my life is his. And all of a sudden it was thrown back on just love without an object of being love, instead of, well, I don't know if I'm being clear, but it was a huge step in my evolution, I would say. And I was not happy about it. Because I loved loving him, and I loved thinking he was, I was his somehow. So all I can just say is that's how I think of it now. It's just be love, because in loving everything and just being love, there's no preference, and there's no separation. And as sad as it is to let go of that whole, let go. It happened. He was there. I was with him. So I don't let go of it, but I have to move beyond it. And that was very, very hard for me. But I felt that that's what he was asking. If you want to show me love, cut the head off. And yeah.
Reminds me of a sloka from Rumi. He said, if you meet me without you, I will meet you without me. So that's all about, if we take the person away, then I am you. Then we are really experiencing love. I feel what you say. With Baba, it was like that. We put him on our altar as something to worship, but we at the same time, and that's beautiful. At the same time, we have to drop the physical to truly experience something. And in that same ceremony you speak about, Gayatri, in where we were in Spain, I took a picture from old Haidakhandi Baba and put that close to the fire. And while we were praying in the morning, when I looked at that picture of old Haidakhandi Baba, I didn't see Haidakhandi Baba, I saw myself. Wow. And I could keep my eyes closed and I saw the same thing. So my spirit was looking at something. And then I opened my eyes and I saw my own face in that picture. So there Babaji showed me that what you look at yourself. You don't look at me, you see yourself. And that's, the whole world is that mirror for me. But that was a great ceremony.
Well, that was a great ceremony. Remember the photo, the big photo fell in the fire? Yeah. Oh my goodness, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Can I share something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I think my first experience of real love was when I went to India, because it really opened my heart, the whole experience. And part of that, of course, was all the devotion, the ceremonies, the pujas, the everything. I just, it's all to open the heart. And so we're kind of worshiping something on the outside, but actually it opens our heart to this pure love of devotion without any expectations of receiving something in return. So there was this total heart opening that happened for me. And I didn't meet Baba in person. I came like a year or so later, but I experienced him. He would talk to me. And I experienced this total unconditional love, this pure love for him, this longing and love for Baba that I didn't feel for other people, right? And so one day I was walking and I asked Babaji in my mind, I said, Baba, why is it that I can feel so much love for you, not for other human beings or other situations? And the immediate response was, because I have no fear. And I was immediately reminded of that book, which was going around then, Love is Letting Go of Fear. But I also immediately understood what he meant. I could see that because he had no fear in him. He was a being of just pure, absolute love. He wasn't afraid to show it. He wasn't afraid to exude it. He wasn't afraid what he was going to get out of it. He was just pure love emanating. I could see that when I received that message. And I realized because of that, I could love him unconditionally because it was totally received. There was nothing blocking it. It was received, and there was no fear coming from him back to me. Or there was none of this, what am I getting? Are we going too far? Where are our limits? There was nothing like that. It was just that with his presence, since he was total love incarnate, I could love him that way. So it totally opened me to be able to love in that way. And then it was interesting because when I left India after a couple months of being there and being in this state of just bliss, I was walking to the airport in Frankfurt and I just became aware of people walking around with their bubbles of fear or resistance. And we just all have it, we're afraid a little bit to go too far, or how are they going to feel about us, or, and I could see this fear, how it operates in our life. And so it was, since then, it was my goal, to drop that fear and just try to love unconditionally, no matter what. So it's kind of loving without expectation. And I really learned that in India, and it continues to show me every time we do a puja or singing. I love the bhajans because, again, it just opens the heart without any expectation, without fear. It's just the outpouring of that being of who we all are. It's pure love. It's just, can we live it? So
Thank you, Marina. I love that story.
thank you.
Dear. Shirman, do you have something to add?
And for everyone, I think, I'm always talking on here, and it'd be nice. I mean, we all have so much love in us in different ways and in all ways. And so I would love to just hear from everybody. Like, I know a lot of you are shy to talk, including this lovely person next to me. But I would really love to hear everyone speak about how they feel.
Diana was waving her hand, so maybe she wants to add something in the soup.
Oh, and it involves Hiraman. The first time I bowed to Babaji in Chilianola, just like Maureen said, when she went and felt his spirit, I cried all night long, and I came back the second time to his feet, and he simply said, "Beta." So on my second visit, I took my 3 and 4.5-year-old children. I just had to have them be in his presence. My marriage was failing, and I asked Babaji what I should do. And he said, "You go Hiraman temple." And so with my last $2,000 and packing my kids' books and clothes, I went from Nova Scotia to Big Island, Hawaii. And I had called Hiraman ahead of time because I heard it was rainy there. And I said, "Well, does it rain?" And he goes, "Only at night." I said, "Okay." So we came, and it rained for 90 days, night and day. Now, in my heart, I thought I was going to this temple where I wear my long robes and I dance around, you know, and I got there and there was this beautiful temple. And Hiraman was doing these amazing Havan ceremonies, and all the women were loving to come see this handsome yogi. But when I walked in the temple, there were just some bicycles in there. So what I want to share is love includes everything. And for me, it was karma yoga. It was my karma yoga to set up the temple. And unbeknownst to any of us, a harmonium arrived, which I've played piano, so I could do the arti, and a sculpture of Lord Shiva Babaji arrived. And for me, my love from Babaji is karma yoga, is to serve others. And it's 75 years old soon. I'll go to sleep or wake up achy and I'll say, maybe I'm too old to go help the American Indians. And Babaji in my heart says, keep going. I mean, he spoke simply. He's in all of us. Each one of us have different karma. And love can mean joy, sadness, loss. Love is everything because love is him. And there is no separation. Hi, Hiraman. And then once I got there, Babaji sent Peggy and Alex Beamer and Mark Mathiak and Makan Burke. So, and then many people came from all over the world. Boli Baba Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Someone else would like to share? Like Hiraman said, one of the reasons I started this, over a year ago, is because I do talk with different people around the world or communicate when they communicate with the ashram or the shop. And I would often ask them, you know, how did you find Baba? How did you find the ashram? And their stories always touched my heart. And I would love to hear more of your stories. So who would like to share their story of love? However it looks, like Dion said, sometimes it's not so comfortable. When Pramanand heard in his head and Sastraji confirmed, go to Crestone, go to the ashram, he didn't like that idea very much. He's like, do I have to? And he's been here now 26 years serving, so it's different ways we get called and feel about it.
Biggie.
Yeah. So actually, I did not know anything about Babaji. I never saw him. I never was inclined to anything spiritual that had anything to do with India. Although over the time, a few things did come back that I had some, how can I say, things that I really liked, but things came little by little to me. But one day, it was 2 days before Christmas, I came across a video of Babaji, and I saw his face, and immediately I was just taken back. It was like I just could not take my eyes off his face. And then there was also his teachings blended in underneath in the video. And I was hijacked, I should say, from the words, from the teachings, from this being. I had no idea I would have such a connection, and I would feel so much love for somebody I have never met. I had no idea he existed. I did then at some point realize that, my goodness, he lived at the same time actually while I I am on the earth, and wow, I could have met him if I had known. I could have been with him. And then I had this tremendous sadness for a while until I realized that yeah, I felt this love with me, within me, and that whenever I, let's say, got in contact with him, just over reading or listening to some teachings, or just watching a video of Ramloti, of course, I think I have seen them all in a matter of 2 months. I think I have seen them all. Yes, that connected me to my heart, to him, and that has changed up to today. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful. Bole Baba Ki Jai.
Jai.
One of the things when I think of love and being with Baba is how he cared for each one of us. I mean, I would love when I saw the villagers come in, they'd bring their pots and pans or whatever they played, this music that was unfamiliar to my ears. And Baba would just be there with them and have such joy. And then the villager would come, you know, with his honey. Probably Baba helped him set up honey, you should know about these honey hives or whatever you call them, beehives. And so then he had all this honey to sell. And so here is the middle of the hottest season in India. And there's ants all over your room already. And there's this man with these jars of honey, and Baba would call us to him and he would say, "You purchase?" So it wasn't really a question. I, of course, purchased honey for my room, which brought more ants. And so it was just how caring he was. And then when I think about some of the most loving moments that I remember in my heart, were just like when I've told the story of walking out next to him when I left in 81, because he was on his way to Navratri in Chilianola. And I was to go home because I was not to renew my visa after 3 months. And so I said I wanted to walk out right next to him, not take a horse. And I did, right next to his leg. And I remember one moment I slipped and he literally, you know, caught me by the, not like this. But the look that he had when I looked up at him, he just said, "You okay?" And it was just with love. He cared so much that I was okay in that moment. And tears were coming down my eyes because I was, you know, I had so many emotions at the moment. And it's those kind of moments that I remember. Another time he was once again supporting the local people, and someone was selling jewelry. So he had me buy these beautiful earrings and he put them in for me. And I didn't really have holes in my ears anymore, or they were pretty closed up for pierced ears. And so he was putting them in and it hurt so bad. My eye, I was just crying, you know, and he's re-piercing my ear with his Indian earring. And tears are coming. And once again, he just took my head like this and he looked in my eyes and he said again, "You okay? You pain?" I was just that kind of love of just one-on-one, so simple. He just cared. And I think that's what I know for me, that's all I look for in life, you know, is just being cared for. And it's when I'm having rough times, I can just pray to Baba. And often I just feel his love around me, like he's holding my face again, saying, "You okay?" And I never know the answer because it's like, well, I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm certainly okay because I'm in your love and embrace at that time. So that's one of the things that comes up for me when I think of love, just simple caring. Yeah. Simple being there without any expectations, I guess we're sort of talking about. And I barely know what that's like, I have to say. when I think I'm sort of loving, but I have, when I really look at it, I do have expectations, which I know of, because when it's not meant, those expectations, then I feel a difference in my capacity to love. And I'll give an example. My birthday was day before yesterday, and many people reached out, and it was very beautiful. But we also have this WhatsApp group that is more old devotees, and nobody wished me a happy birthday on WhatsApp. Some of those people did individually, but it's like often, somebody happy birthday, then everybody. And I was down and out about it. So talk about expectations. That's me. So I have a long way to go. So that's my true confession from my birthday.
Yeah, but that's all of us, Ramloti. Beautiful you share that. It's like we all have personalities and they all pass by one. Then I'm jealous and then I'm not jealous. Then I'm angry, then I'm not angry. Underneath is this loving vibration from Baba in all of us. And at the same time, we have all these other personalities passing by one. Sometimes it looks like they're not there for a while or for a few days, but they will come. They don't, I can, especially in a relationship, if you speak about the male-female relationship, at least once a month, I really have had it with Anjani, that I get not a little irritated, I get really upset. And if I look 1 hour later, we laugh together. Now we can laugh quite a bit. If I get in an anger thing that I disapprove of something, what she is doing or how things are going, we start to laugh about it. We reach that level that it takes me 1 hour to really go through that. It looks really serious, that I'm very disappointed and I'm ready to change my life. And after 1 hour, we both have to laugh. She is able to carry me when I go through that period in a beautiful way. I think it's amazing what a woman can do. I'm surprised that she can handle it. If I look myself back on a movie, I think, no, it's not to be ashamed of yourself. That doesn't help. But I relate to your confession. We are holistically completely with Baba, but these personalities, slowly, it's a purification process. They lose their grip. But if we can get rid of them, we need an incredible blessing to stay in that field beyond any personality. In my observation, and I see that with many of our Babaji devotee friends, we all go through the same dramas. Personalities, they don't die. Like Babaji had no personality, he had no story, he had no fear. We come here in this world to look at all those very deeply and clearly to see, what is this jealousy about? Wow. And then we realize that doesn't go anywhere. Better I stay to my own ground and look what really love is. Be in the moment, be what we are. And I think we all going in these beautiful lessons we get from Baba, because that is Baba. If Baba creates a situation in life that, let's say, I have to be irritated or angry, that's a blessing. I have to look at something. I get a possibility to really see something, or let you say, I want to please, I want to be pleased, or I want to be loved. The big ones for all of us. We all want to be seen and loved, and Baba didn't have that. He didn't come to prove himself or to be loved. No needs. But we, through our childhood or whatever karmas, we love to be seen, heard, appreciated. Very, very interesting human dynamic.
Thank you.
Beyond it, we are love. We are love. We are love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, Tina, you had your hand up. Did you want to share?
I would like to. I have about half a dozen things to say. And Pujari just mentioned a child, the way we love like children. And in the last 48 hours, I have had an experience that brought my deepest inner child pain up for me to see. And this morning, as I was awaking, Baba took me and showed me the relationship of what was happening in my external world to what my inner child was feeling and reacting to. And it's so new now that I can't even exercise it. I can't employ it yet. I haven't had a chance to, but now I have an understanding of a hurt that my inner child received from my own father. It's a lack of love or a lack of perceived love. And I have now the opportunity to see it and to breathe it out and to go forward from this moment. And I think so much happens that comes from our subconscious, that if we brought up to our real consciousness, we couldn't handle. Which brings me to my next point, which was about a week ago, I had a remarkable dream. I don't dream about Babaji much, but I actually saw him in my dream. And I said to him, is there anything, Baba, about me that you like? I didn't say love. I said, is there anything about me that you like? And he didn't answer me, but he smiled. And at that moment, with that smile, I felt a kind of acceptance and love that I have never felt before. And I think if he had come forward to me and put his arms around me, I probably would have just exploded. So he gave me what I needed in the moment to take my next step. And the more bhakti, the more faith, the more I see, the more I receive. And I think it's just remarkable. I think so many of us are going through that, healing our subconscious wounds. And that's what keeps us from that kind of love that is so frightening to us. Hole Baba Ki Jai.
Okay.
Isabella, did you have your hand up too?
No, not me, but Tatiana and Tina, they have their hand up.
Oh, Tatiana, maybe.
I'll put my hand down.
Okay, thanks, Tina.
Hello.
I don't know how to.
Can I share something as well?
Yes, Tatiana, go ahead.
Yeah, I understood you are speaking about love, and I wanted to add about this something. Like when I was first time in Haidakhandi, I was speaking with one friend, and it was very weird for me because like we all got used to opposite to love is what emotion is fear, and when somehow he said that opposite to love, we all consider opposite to love is hate. But he told somehow that it's fear what goes opposite, and for me it was a little bit weird, but then I start to think about it, and then I heard again like same phrase that like what's opposite is fear, not hate to love. And even like I also was listening to Sondra Ray, and she also refers only to these two like basic I can say emotions like love and fear. And for me, it was very interesting. And I keep still try to understand this concept because, like, I think for many years we got used to concept that is a hate, what is opposite to love. Anyway, and I also wanted to share one story which I heard about fear. It's not my story. I don't know if you know. It's Kamalu. He was Babaji devotee, but he already left his body. He lived in Canada, but he spoke Russian, so he would come often to Russia and to Ukraine. And he met many Ukrainian devotees also, Babaji. And then I was listening one of his story in like he already left, but it was like a recorded story. Because when he did regression, he returned to one of his past life. When he was serving Babaji, like he was like already another, and like he was a little bit different, like I think not human, like not like human. But then he was serving like Shiva, Babaji in the cave. And out of that cave, he saw like many people. I think it was like human world. And there was a wall and no one could reach through this wall. Like people were struggling, they were like trying to they were fighting with each other, but they could not go over through the wall. And then like Kamalu, he asked Babaji, what is happening and what this wall is about? And Babaji replied that this wall is fear and people cannot like go through the fears. But then they see one person, like some entity, and it goes and it just go through this wall with as if it doesn't exist. And he said this person is like the one who doesn't have fear. And eventually, like this guy, like as Kamalu was saying, that one of the biggest obstacle for us is our fears, and that like it what us prevent from our growth. So I don't know. Like speaking of love and fear, something like this. Just wanted to add. I don't know if I had tried to share this story, but I think he spoke about his experience openly, and it's also important to understand because Babaji stressed to him many times about fear, and then he came to this world to make us fearless and basically to achieve love in this way. Yeah.
Tatiana.
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana. Yeah.
I like what Pujari was talking with like parental love, that Babaji is like the super parent. He not only loves us, but he loves what we're capable of, loves who we are that we don't even know. Babaji always brings me students. So, and I was raised by an educator, so I have this sort of overview awareness of observation, being able to see what somebody's up to, or being able to understand when they're talking to me. I don't know how to explain it. I see them in their environment. I see them perceiving their limitations, and it's always a waiting game. It's like it's almost like cooking. When Babaji brings me a student, these people are, they're raw, they're in their primitive form, and so I have to put them in the right situations and ask them the right questions and make them spin around on themselves and sort of turn their own logic against them to make them get stuck in a corner, and then look up at me and I go, well, now what are you going to do? And then they go, oh, like I made all that up. And I'm like, aha, finally, now, and it's very interesting. It's always a bizarre experiment because I don't ever know. I have no idea who this person is, what their history is, how they're going to respond. They just come to me and they just start talking immediately. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And I always, it evolves in their story. Like they always tell me what's going on without telling me. They're telling me one thing, but Babaji is sort of whispering in my ear, what's going to happen. And so I sort of get this overview of who they really are. And they're, of course, just children. So I have to sort of guide them like puppies into the right place. And then they finally wake up and find their true purpose. And it's so strange. I feel like the mailman. Like I just pick them up at one place and I take them over and let them do their things, and I just drop them off where they're supposed to go. It's very bizarre, and I'm very grateful. But that love of being able to observe, and just that knowing of who you really are beyond your own perception of your limitations, sort of a universal parent, the parent of parents, is so profound, so incredibly profound, beyond loving one thing or another. You're so right about love and fear, because hate is misdirected love. Hate is something that you it's a polarity. It's like positive and negative. You can hate something and then immediately love it again. So love and hate really are the same thing. It really just is a matter of perspective. And I'm absolutely so grateful to have experienced that, not only in my own life from the love of Babaji and everything that I've experienced, but to be able to hand that over to be a facilitator and just sit back and observe and sort of play Babaji really just blows my mind. It's so beyond anything I could ever have even imagined. And I really just I try to become clear. I try to become transparent so that the love can just flow. I sometimes my emotions come up and I just have to breathe through it and just become transparent so that I don't get in the way of the message that they're supposed to hear, because it's not my message. This is their own self talking to them through me. But I guess that's the job.
Yeah, love and hate. If going through my mind was the wars going on. No, I'm close to Russia, Ukraine war with the truckers and Trudeau, who is not able to step up to the love level that we would like to see come from him. He goes into fear, and look what a mess we get. And while there's a revolution of love wants to be born, it's an amazing dynamic we live in. It's for sure, Baba came to express that love is the answer to humanity. Open your heart, learn to love, learn to forgive, and then the beauty we see in each other keeps us going. No, it's a very inspiring moment in time. If I see what's going on with the truckers and on many other levels, we are in quite a pressure cooker. And it's very curious where we will, if humanity will choose for love or will choose for fear. That's almost like on a very big scale, this drama is playing at the moment, so strong that it's keeps everybody busy. We know the answer, but if we are able to get there as a humanity and make a shift, that's on this political level, we choose for a loving solution. I not see many holes yet. I don't know how far humanity have to go down, and we have to suffer until we learn the lesson that love really is the only answer. Thank you, Frank, for bringing that topic of anger or hate and love and fear and love up. It's very clear.
I wish we could take out a big newspaper ad then in giant print that said, choose love. Just bring it to the collective consciousness of all. I think you nailed it, Pujari.
Yeah, well.
That's the message we have to send our politicians.
A newspaper for soul.
We start to feel trapped, no? Humanity starts to feel trapped by, yeah, what can you say? Almost a scientific, organized, dominant cabal that we cannot escape. So the only escape is go inside and go to your heart and be love with whoever you can, and then it stops. But we like to see the whole world in love and to look at every human being and your cat and your dog and your tree. You want to see love everywhere. It is everywhere. But it's difficult for the mind will not, or I must say the mind is making me trouble and probably everybody trouble. There is probably a way around it. Like Babaji on that level had no fear, so he had no problem, even with the world dynamic. And even if it would go down with nuclear war, then okay, then we have to go that road on a divine love, or we never must give up to be love ourselves, not be afraid for our future or our life. But probably I see it also through the mind that it looks like the world is having to make some very big choices, otherwise we are cooked.
Yeah.
Mahalakshmi. Oh.
I don't think she doesn't have any. Yeah, still can't hear you. Somehow she doesn't have audio.
But I see Lalita wants to say something. She has raised up her hand.
Go ahead, Lolita.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be in today's satsang because the kind of love I have felt in last 1.5 years after Baba came into my life, it has changed my life completely. I was facing south and now I'm headed north. It's like that. And I had this one particular vision while I was chanting Om Namah Shivaya. I was going through a really through a phase of guilt, because I think I have read it at many places, and I've heard it in many YouTube videos that when you start going inwards and you start looking inwards, and then many things from your past, present, like past of the present life, as well as from the previous lives, whatever we have gathered through many lifetimes, all those negativities start coming up, and which is a part of healing you need to deal with, and you need to become aware of, so that you don't go again into the same loop and you are able to evolve. So a lot of negativity was coming up, insecurities, guilt and whatnot. It was coming up. It was a really difficult phase. And I used to cry a lot. I used to sit in front of Baba's photograph, and whenever I used to think of him, I just used to cry and cry and cry. And I started questioning, like, am I worthy of this love that he's showering on me? And what did I do to, deserve this love and attention and care, whatever I was getting? And I was in meditation. Like, I was just contemplating about it, and I was sitting with my eyes closed, and I had this vision that there was a small kutir or a small room, like you have in Haidakhandi, the one with the floor with mud and cow dung floor and thatched roof and all that. And he was lying with his elbow like this, half lying down, halfway, like he was up on his elbow, and he was looking at me, and I was cleaning the floor. I was putting cow dung and mud on the floor, and I was trying to, repair it. And he was looking at me with so much love in his eyes. And when I looked at him, he did not speak anything, but it was like he telepathically, sent this message to me that, how much will you go on about it? You are okay the way you are, and I love you. And you are okay the way you are. And it was such a relief after that. Like, it has become easier and easier and easier, and it has become easy with every passing day to accept myself the way I am, with all my faults and whatever that is that constitutes me, and forgive myself and move forward. And in that process, I've been able to forgive others as well around me, and I have been really I've started opening to love. I've become more receptive. I'm less scared, because the opposite of love, that is fear, that I think comes from a place where you think that when someone loves you, gives their attention and love, they expect something in return. And what if we are not able to reciprocate that? What if we are judged for the way we react to it? What if they judge us? So let's not get into that mess at all, and be at the sidelines. But I've slowly started mustering up that courage to take the plunge. Let's see what happens. So that is the kind of difference that Baba has brought to my life, and there is a lot of peace, there is acceptance, there is positivity in spite of everything that is going around. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lolita. Thank you.
Okay, did it work this time?
Yeah.
No.
I
Is
hear
it working?
Yes.
Really? Oh my God, it's a miracle. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mala.
This has been so nice. So many, I love it that we all go through very similar things, although like Pujari said, the personalities are different in a way, but it's all the same stuff, Oh, Imam sends his love, of course. He's in the other room doing something. So I had two things I thought to share. And the first one is, sometimes I share these dreams that I have because I remember them like a darshan. Like I haven't seen Babaji in person, I don't think. I don't know. But there was one dream in particular where he was there, and exactly what everyone else has said. He held my hand. It was more love than I've ever felt from myself, because everything is reflecting back to me is myself. So that was really very profound. How can you even describe it? I don't know. So I come back to that one especially. And there was another dream I had. This was even before I met Imam, before Babaji, before there was one time that I was meditating in a park and someone stopped and gave me the autobiography of a yogi book. It was even before that, because that was where at least I heard the name Babaji. I had no idea. And I had this dream. I was having really potent dreams, amazing, bright blue. It was always blue. This one in particular, there was an elevator going up. I feel like this is all of us still. This was maybe 10 to 12 years ago, but there was an elevator going up, like we're in this ascension, right? And I suddenly realized that it was going beyond whatever chamber there was for the elevator. It just went straight up into the sky. So of course, my first reaction is just complete and utter terror. And there was a ladder right behind me. So my immediate response is, oh shit, grab the ladder. And I could even see through the elevator to see that it was just sky. And that was very frightening. However, and I should also say that when I looked down, it was also sky. It was like the opposite of free falling. So I'm grabbing this thing, and I can't exactly remember what the impetus was for me to let go, but either I came up with it or something, whatever. I let go of the ladder and I realized I was just floating, and it was not a big deal at all. There was another dream that I had where a huge storm was coming through, huge, terrible, dark storm, gonna destroy a lot of things. And when I went to look into that storm, it was made out of that chiffon fabric, really light fabric. That's what the storm was. So there are many teachers that have talked about how the mind is, even Raghu recently said, and I kind of stole his idea from my recent post, but it's a very great idea. The sun is shining all the time. It's just that clouds come by sometimes. I feel like even my body is just a cloud in space. And it's, of course, I don't feel that all the time. One other thing I'd like to share is about the love versus fear idea. And I mean, the whole reason why I do music, other than the fact that it comes to me quite easily, I just get songs out of nowhere, is that it confronts all of my fears. I mean, that's really it. It's like my higher self, AKA Babaji, said, okay, this is the way that you're going to get through all of this stuff. And it's been, it hasn't been easy, but at the same time, the second that I turn away from that fear and go into the love, which is the acceptance of how I sound or whatever it is, it becomes really easy. And then there's joy, and yeah, there's definitely a perfection in the imperfection. Because even today, I was going to load up one of my music videos and share it on our music page. Oh, I watched the music video. I thought, oh no, I can't do it today. There's still something like in my mind, knowing it, it's more of like a judgment thing. And so I'm working to unravel all of these things, as I'm sure you are as well. So it's nice to be here with you. And I recently said in my post, we are victorious, because I truly feel that time, which exists also right now, where that stuff isn't there. And it's right here. As realistic as we also need to be, that there are some things that we're still sort of wrestling with sometimes. So that's it. I love all of you.
Malakshi, I wanted to say something for the videos that you and Imam have produced about the ashram in Haidakhandi. It's amazing. It is like, for the people who have not been there, like I have never been there, but it's like really overflowing, overflying, and being in the middle of it. It is just, it blows me away. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Nice. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm happy that we were in a Best Buy and a mom said, hey, you want to get a drone? And I thought, yeah, okay, so we brought it to Haidakhandi. And that also is how I feel when I watch those.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
From all of us.
Yes, thank you. There are so many people that don't get to go there, at least at this time, and are newer. So thanks. It's beautiful. I loved what you said about the music as your joy, and it also helps you confront your fear. Because when I think about singing and I think, oh, my voice, it's like, and then it's like, wait a second, why are you singing? To praise God and to share my love. So let go of the rest. Thank you. Claire, do you oh, I'm sorry, somebody raised their hand?
I didn't raise my hand because I don't know how. How are you guys raising your hand? How do you do that? Anyway, okay.
Gayatri, raise your hand. Go ahead, Gayatri.
Hello. I just, in just stewing with this discussion, it keeps coming back to me. I just feel like somehow we don't even know what love is. It used to be when I was in peyote ceremonies and I was given the rattle to sing, I always used to sing that song, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. And I was always singing that because I somehow feel like we don't even know. I mean, I can't say that Babaji was loving us. I don't think he loved us. He was in a dimension where we're all one, and that one is love. So we felt loved when he looked at us, but I don't think he was, I love Gayatri, I love you. I don't think that was part of his reality at all. And so I think all of us, like we were talking about how our human experiences of love, and, it's more attachment and it's more caring and it's got a whole bunch of mushy stuff in it. But I don't think love has that in it somehow. And so I have to admit, I don't know what it is. I'm constantly asking to know what it is. And I think that once I realize what I am, I wouldn't even say who, but what I am, then love will naturally be my state, the state, not my state, the state. But up until then, I just, even, the closest I've come is to the animals, the four-leggeds I've lived with. I mean, that is pretty pure stuff. Although if they pee on my sofa or something, then, I'm like, hey, stop peeing. But, but that's pretty much as close as I can get. I mean, because even with Babaji, I mean, there was just such desire there mixed in, desire for him to be special somehow. I mean, I remember when he said that phrase, I read it, he didn't say it while I was there. All I need is one devotee. All I need is one. And I wanted to be that one. Oh man, I was like, I gotta be that one, And I mean, how crazy. When he actually literally said it, all I need is one. And that's what, so to me now, looking at that phrase, I understand that all he needs is somebody to realize that we're all one. I mean, one to wake up to their oneness. So, the idea of being special, I did, by the way, just post a happy birthday to you on WhatsApp because I know that feeling. And now you're going to get a shitload of them because now they've seen, they didn't know it was your birthday. That's all. But anyway, that whole feeling of wanting to be loved and wanting to be special, all of that comes from the creature, what I call the creature, the ego, the kid, the kid, adult, whatever, all our traumas, our past, parents, parental, it's a string of things to unravel. But there's also that when you awaken, it's in a second and all of that falls away. Whether you maintain it or not is another question, but still, once you've had a taste, that's how it is. And then all your love and all your attachment and all your wants and desires and everything just become kind of laughable. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm still thinking this and I still want that. So I was actually wondering, why is it so important in spiritual circles or spiritual paths to love yourself, this whole self-love thing? Remember when that was like really important? And now I think what's most important is trauma and healing your trauma, your somatic experiencing and all that. There's all these popular stages that come up as the one evolves and, things to kind of clean up. And then I look at Babaji and he's just to get to work. That's love in action. Just get to work, serve, serve, serve. And serving is not very convenient in my life at a lot of times. It's really not. I mean, I have several friends who have died, fathers, and their children are in my life now, and they need a lot of help. They don't know how to get licenses. They don't know how to move around America. They're from another country and they don't have a visa. I mean, it's just and it's totally inconvenient for me to parent them. But I remember Babaji saying, we're all each other's fathers and we're all each other's mothers. So it's like, inconvenient or not, it's like love in action is helping, whether it's convenient or not, whether they're your kid or not, whether what it's just like this. It'll be so great. It would be so great to awaken, because then there's peace. Then you can deal with everything and there's peace. It's not a problem. You know, it's not an effort. It's not, I tell you, I mean, it's the key. It's the key. And I know it's the key. And there's nothing actually that we can do to make that, turn that key, except perhaps become empty. So I don't want to fill myself with love, the ideas or concepts of love or truth or this or that, any of it, kindness, any of it, just empty. And what presents itself, do what you can, you know, karma yoga. I mean, that was what he was saying, Om Namah Shivaya and karma yoga. Just those are the two things that were the biggest guidance that he gave all of us, was karma yoga and Om Namah Shivaya. And so I don't know where love fits in, but I'm working on it. But I have to say, I really feel like I don't know. And I feel like all the things that I think are love are tinged with something else. And so just to be honest, I really do feel like this subject, when I saw what it was and who texted me to come on, I was like, I don't think I even know. I mean, to be honest. So, I hope to know one day. Let's put it that way. Amen.
I love that, Gayatri. Gayatri from Ramana, one quote came to me. He said, we live as if we are separate from reality. You get that? We live as if we are separate from reality. How can that be true, no? How can we be separate from reality? If the person falls away, we experience love, but we want to hold on to that person or personalities. And it's until then, we have to keep doing our karma yoga. And there are moments that it all drops away, and then, then we truly experience some love. But then these personalities come back and we're back to struggling on the human plane. But beautiful. We don't know what love is until it all drops away. But I see Theodosia, Sita had her hand up all the way from Belgium, I think, today.
From Belgium and on the road. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just want to share a dream I've had a couple of weeks ago. And the dream goes like this. And I feel it is teaching me, and I guess it will still be teaching me about the power of love, whatever love is, right? So I'm there and I'm seeing a friend, and I'm moving close to her. And then this friend comes into my arms, and it was like, are you a baby? Are you my baby? And then this baby transforms into I take this word from you, Gayatri, creature. It was a creature, and it was not a very beautiful creature, green or blue. And it started to attack me in my face. And then in my dream, I start to say in Greek, which is my mother language, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, over and over again. And then this creature, it starts to integrate, it starts to become part of me, going into my body, let's say. And then in a moment, which was a very nice feeling, that integration, and I kept on saying, I love you, I love you. And then in a moment, it was a little bit stuck in my neck, like when you swallow and there's a bone or something stuck in your neck. And in that moment, I say, I adore you, I adore you. And then I kept repeating. And then I said, you are part of me, and you can stay here forever. You can stay as long as you want. You're part of me. You're at home. And and that was a very, very wonderful feeling of integration. And I don't know, when I saw that dream and I saw that the next topic would be love, I thought this is a dream about the power of love, though I still am yet to, let's say, apply this, because it felt like a message or like a teaching, but how to apply, how to, this part of myself that I still a little bit push back, how to take them in. And this side of especially my family, when I push them back, how to take them in. Yeah, that is what I'm working on. But I just wanted to share that dream on the power, on the incredible power of love and integration into our hearts.
Yeah, beautiful.
Bole Baba ki jai.
Stay Rahao.
Go ahead, Makan.
Makan.
Jai Makan.
You have to unmute. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, there.
There you are.
Can you hear me? It's
Yeah.
nice to be with you all, and first thing in the morning for me. um, I just was remembering when Gayatri was talking, being in Haidakhandi the second time. I was there in '79 and '82. So unfortunately, I have to disagree with what Gayatri said about Babaji loving, because for me, he did some things which were physically loving. Um, and I'll try to get I'll try to give you a context. The first time I went to Haidakhandi, I was a very self-centered artist. I had been traveling around India, studying art and drawing a lot. And he basically told me to put down my drawings and get to work. And so it took me, and it was the first. So the first time, it took me quite a while to get in the program of what needed to be done at the ashram as a Westerner. The second time I had I went there, it was, I got right into the program and was, after a few weeks, they needed somebody to run the tea shop on the Gufa side, the cave side of the ashram, which was a funky little place that had a wood burning stove, um, a little kitchen that was made up mostly out of cow dung, and we had and we just brought in supplies and made tea, and um, we made snacks for people. Um, we cooked chapatis and actually made pizzas in a little oven we had there, and that we had made out of bricks and a wood burning oven. And so one day, and Bobby used to come over to the Gufa side every day, and he always brought an entourage of people that, because the and he would make his rounds and say hello to all the people that lived on the cave side and sit and give darshan. And so when he first came over, there would be people that want tea or lassi, and I would serve them, and then they would all go up and sit around and listen to Babaji, at higher up than where the tea shop was. There was these big wide stairs that led up to the temples, and so that one day I had served everybody tea that wanted it, and then I went up to have his darshan higher up in front of one of the 6 temples that were there then. There's now 9, and he was, and I listened to the darshan, which was mostly in Hindi, so you kind of just figure out what's going on, and but mostly smiles and laughter. And then he got up and was leading everybody down these wide steps down to the tea shop and then out to the river. And I had a question for him about the tea shop. And so I managed to get myself beside him on the stairs as we walked down. And I asked a simple question. He said, "Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay." I can't even remember the question. And then he reached out and he put his hand on my forearm, just as if he was a friend. And I felt like this telepathic feeling like, you're doing a good job. Thank you for being here, kind of energy. And I will never forget that. You know, it was like, here's this great leader touching me like a brother, you know, or a father. So I think and there was one other time later in that visit when I felt his love it was when I was leaving, and in getting ready to go, I had gotten really I had gotten kind of run down physically, because I was I had to close the tea shop, and I had cut my finger really bad with a knife, and I was the next morning early. I was getting on a bus to this place that he had sent me to, this ashram in the mountains, and so I went to him and I told him that I was exhausted, and he looked directly at me and he said, "Don't worry, you will be able to rest at Badachina, the mountain ashram you're going to. It's very peaceful there." Well, that was another time when I just felt he was loving me like a father. So I just thought I'd share those little stories. For me, he was he became like this friend, you know, and he would joke with me, and he was just so kind.
Yeah, Makan. But at the same, I feel Gayatri's story, what she tried to tell us, that Babaji was not preferring you above her or above me or Hiraman. Babaji had nobody he didn't love. Babaji was so much love. He loved everybody and everything.
Yes.
No, everything was his. The whole universe is his. In his and in his perception, in his reality, how he would relate. And at the same time, appreciate your personal stories, because we all have those where Babaji was closer than anybody, our best friend. No, that was also Babaji. So that's very touching. He played that part, and he played that Sadguru, which is loving unconditionally everything. So, but that's what Gayatri was meaning. So you're both very right, and a beautiful sharing.
Thank you, Makan.
Thank you. So great to see you all.
Yeah, lovely. But Hiraman, speak about your love.
I was actually waving at Makan, but anyway, I guess I could. Well, first of all, it's nice to hear from more people today. I really like that, and a lot of wisdom comes to us in different ways. You know, each of us responds to something differently. So it's really nice to hear everybody share a bit more. Not everybody. I'm still watching some of you because you haven't talked yet. Love. You know, I think as we've been talking about truth and simplicity and love, and maybe we'll get into service too, I see that there's no separation between them. You know, we don't, like that beautiful thing Lolata read from Mahendra Baba, that, you know, we speak what's in our minds and it's truth, and we live simply, and that may lead to love. And love leads to all those other things too. It's fullness. And for me, my experience with Babaji was that, like many have said, he was nothing but love. It wasn't something that he had to do or be, it just was. And we all felt it in different ways. I saw Isabel in the background had an image of the riverbed in Haidakhandi, and it made me think of a time when someone was doing an interview of Babaji for a magazine, and they really wanted to push, "Are you the real Babaji?" And he just said, "I'm a stone on the riverbed. I'm only a stone on the riverbed." And
Sorry, guys, I have to do this. Then I will be with you.
And so, you know, we're all stones on the riverbed, and the river moves us around. Each time it floods, we're moved in different ways, and we bump into each other differently. And we have big pools in some areas, and other areas there's a dam, but we're all stones on the riverbed, and we're there with Babaji. We're moving with Babaji. Him leaving his body has nothing to do with our relationship with Babaji. Nothing at all. I have just as much experience with him now as ever. And even when he was in his body, some of the teachings that were most meaningful to me was when we were apart. Apart. That's even, what is apart? How can you be apart from everything? I really love the idea of fear. Tatiana, that story you told was beautiful. I mean, what do we have to fear? We have fear we're going to lose a tooth. Yeah, that happens. We have fear that, you know, our friends didn't catch us on our birthday, and we love you, Lolata, and like completely, and you're an inspiration and a lovely soul. And I just don't, I miss my own birthday sometimes. So I didn't have clarity to remind me of my daughter. So what do we fear? Why are we afraid? We lose our material possessions. Do we need them? We lose, what can we lose if we're never apart from what is real? I think for Babaji, for me, he was teaching that we not only love those we can love easily, but we love life. We love everything. You know, we live with love. And that's truth. And that's also simplicity. What is more simple than loving someone? I mean, when you love, everything is simple. And kind of when you're simple, it's easy to love. So everything just is like this big oneness that is just out there for us to partake in. And when we have fears or wants, then the stones on the river just get moved in a different way. But it'll come back. You know, every year there's a big flood and everything gets rearranged and life moves on, and love just is.
Yeah, I I sometimes saw one or two videos of Babaji being in his swing, and the amount of joy and love in his eyes while he was looking at his devotees. He was sometimes also speaking to somebody. I mean, I've never seen anybody looking to somebody with this amount of love, this expression in his eyes. It's just breathtaking. Just, yeah, no words to say.
Yeah, I wanted to add and to share like one more experience. In fact, when I just came to Babaji, I understood that he is love, that he is like pure master, that he is God. And I think I was concentrating all my love over everything on him. And I wanted to serve him. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to be for him. And it was for some time, and I think it still is. And I think it's because in one way I was afraid, like I knew that he will not betray, he will not cheat, he will not leave. And so I wanted to be only for him. And then at some point I was like in my like kind of imagination, I was imagining that I'm next to him, that I'm at his feet. And I was saying like, I want to be only with you, and I want to be only for you. And then at some point I felt that he's pushing me away from him. And he's like saying, like pushing me to people, that like I should not love only him as like as Babaji, you know, that he's like in everyone, and that I should share my love, and like all I want for all like for him, I can share with the rest. And I should not afraid of love others, even though like of course like we're afraid that the people we love will leave us, they will like cheat or something, betray. I think that's why it's easier to love Babaji, because he's pure and he's like all these energies. And but I had a feeling that he was telling me to love others and not to be afraid to love as well. Yeah.
Well, and we have to learn to love ourselves too. I mean, loving ourselves is absolutely primary. If we spend our time in sorrow and in fear and in pain, well, then we're no good to anybody else. You know, it's entirely possible that we can serve as an example to others through our fear, through our pain, uh, but we're more capable of change and helping others change if we're able to process our fear, and then through loving ourselves, understanding what we're truly capable of. We're only going to be capable of the little bit that we're dealing with right now, and we have to take life in bites. So we process a little bit of fear, and then we have to go deal with the world, and then we move on. But the undercurrent, the river that flows through all of us, is the love of self. And if we're finally eventually able to love ourselves the way God loves us, then our true potential comes through. And if we're not loving ourselves, then how are we going to be of service? How are we going to be any good to the rest of the world if we don't know our true talents, if we haven't found who we really are, if we're still stuck in pain and sorrow and fear, especially if we're stuck in judgment, if we're judging others? Well, how does that help anybody? It doesn't help us. It only serves as an example to others as what not to be. So really accepting our own seasons, accepting our own changes, and loving ourselves through it, because we have to love ourselves. Everybody else, they can love us or not love us, but we have to love ourselves. We're stuck with ourselves. We can't escape ourselves. But if we can love ourselves, then maybe we can love others. And if we can love others, well, then we're definitely capable of loving ourselves. It's really just a choice. And that's a hard choice, because we're so, as judgmental as we are of others, those are only defaults that we recognize in ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't recognize it. When you get angry about something, that's something in yourself that you recognize, and you're like, I don't like that about me, and you're showing it, so go away. And that part of you that gets angry, that little child really, really wants to change, but they don't know how. It's frustration. You're ill with yourself because you haven't gotten rid of this thing that you don't like. So love allows you not just to help others. The love of self allows you to transcend your own pain. It allows you to process the world and move from day to day. And sharing these stories is part of it. Sharing the stories and sharing the love of others, or sharing the love of yourself to others, being of service, proving your worth in the world by getting out there and breaking your boundaries and strengthening yourself emotionally, strengthening yourself by carrying the burdens of others, dealing with their stories, helping them in ways that you don't even know how. Most of the time we help others by just being ourselves. But if we're stuck in fear, stuck in pain, if we're carrying the trauma of our parents, if we're carrying other people's burdens for them, we're not any good to ourselves, and we're definitely not any good to society. So that's part of the message. That's what work is. It's not just outer work. Outer work is paint on the walls compared to the inner work. The outer work allows a vehicle for the inner work to take place. But the inner work is the work. That is everything. If you can love yourself, then you're going to be capable of loving the whole world. And that's really what we're dealing with, is having to love ourselves. We've got to go out and work in the world and discover what love is. But that love, that is truly the love of the self, because we can't escape ourselves. We have to love ourselves. And at the end of the day, that's the true source. That is the true source of the love of everything. Because if I can look out and see Om Tat Sat, that I am that, that I am that, that I am that, the love of the true self radiates out to everyone. And I think that's one of the reasons why Babaji allows me to take students, why they just start coming to me, because I have tried to be transparent. I've tried not to let myself get in the way. I've tried to just love everybody, regardless of what comes to me. I love you. I love you as much as I love myself. I have to. I'm not loving myself if I don't. That's the only lesson I've been able to learn. And it pervades everything. That love is. I love how Pujari put that love is. There really is nothing else. And if you can live a life of love, that's truly living.
Thank you. Gayatri?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, what would love look like on the planet if there were no humans? If you took the humans off the planet, what would love look like? If love is all there is, then what does it look like without humans? I mean, birds feed their their babies, worms and stuff, but I don't know if they have this I love you thing going. They're doing what comes natural to them. Just it's something to think about, because I always feel like, because we have a dualistic mind, humans are the ones who distort pretty much everything. So I was wondering what love would look like on the planet without us.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there. For sure, it's still there. And yeah. I mean, I had, working in the office, I saw people who would come in and, oh my gosh, they were so enthusiastic to be with Baba and arriving, and I love him and everything. And like 2 days later, they were out of there so fast, hating him. Well, he's not him. That's not Babaji. He's not love. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was astounding, the level of devotion they'd arrive with and the level of disgust they'd leave with. And he just, excuse my French, fucked with their mind. He just was like, okay, you think this is what it looks like? Here. And he would do the opposite just to see. And he was just, it was such a teaching. It was such a teaching. I mean, I had one guy gave him all his money. He gave him all his money. And then he asked for it back when he decided Babaji wasn't Babaji. I want my money back. And I mean, it was just great. Shiva, you know, I'll play with you. I'll play with all your ideas of what God should look like, what, you know, what love is, whatever. I mean, he was just a destroyer of illusion. And I have to say, it was fun to watch. But I was like super vigilant, because there were times when he was definitely playing my lover. And I was like a soldier, like, you know, because I just didn't want to get thrown out. And I saw people who would fall into that and think they were special and everything. They were gone in like a week. So I was just like, I'm not buying into anything that's happening here. I am just Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, because I didn't want to get thrown out. So I just, I just was wondering what love is without humans on the planet. I'm looking outside, I'm seeing the wind moving the trees and the birds are flying here and everything. I'm like, that's all love. That's love. So I want to love like that.
Thank you.
I want to answer that.
Oh, wait, Lolita, I think Tina had her hand up first. Tina, do you still have
Okay.
Tina? No, you don't. Okay, you had it. Your hand is up, Tina. No?
There. Well, I had a couple of things I wanted to ask. First of all, I'm loving this dialogue. Did Baba leave us a specific mantra to connect love within our heart? Like, I've been reciting Om Tat Sat a lot, and I do a lot of mantras as well as the Om Namah Shiva. So that's my question. The other thing that I've been shown lately is that Babaji is, of course, so full of opposites. And he referred to our creation. He referred to the thousands of life forms, the millions of life forms that was in peril if we didn't all wake up. And lately, I've been thinking that rather than looking outside of our earth and our consciousness, look around at all the myriad life forms that God created on earth. In response to what Gayatri was just saying, there was I've known a long time about dolphins and their brains and their ability to love at great distances and their intelligence. And everything has its own unique intelligence, and it's animated by love. And once we begin to see that we are just dust formed into different things, I began to sort of have an idea that what Baba was talking about creation being in danger, was the way we are continuing to roll toward the annihilation of our planet and the fractal nature of everything he said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we live, like I said before, we live like we are separate from reality, separate from nation, and we are destroying nature like this. We don't have a loving relationship with our planet. with ourselves, actually. That's where it starts. That's what Gayatri was pointing. Without us human beings who live separate from reality, there wouldn't be a problem. Birds don't live separate from reality. They cannot. We can. This is our out of paradise position. And we come together here. So how do we get back to be like a bird?
Lolita?
Pujari, Entschuldigung, dass ich dazwischen frage. Pujari, kannst du in 2 Worten mir sagen, wie heißt sie, die Tina gefragt hat?
Ich weiß ja nicht, was du bedeutet. Über das Buch oder über die letzte...
Nein, hat die Tina jetzt was gefragt? Über Babaji?
She asked about the mantras, if there was a mantra that Babaji left to connect to the heart.
Ich verstehe leider kein Englisch.
Sie fragte, ob Babaji ein bestimmtes Mantra hinterlassen hat, was direkt zum Herzen verbindet, ja.
Ja.
Und sie sagte auch, dass sie im Moment, also außer Om Namah Shivaya, und sie sagte, dass sie Om Tat Sat als Mantra in der letzten Zeit oft sagt.
Ja, danke dir.
Ja, gerne.
Und die Frage ist noch nicht beantwortet. Aber meistens ist es, was Baba sagt, Om Namah Shivaya, this is the most powerful medicine to reach the depth of our heart.
Also, if you think about it, we always say love, truth, simplicity, and the rest of that phrase is seva sabko jiva, service to all of life. We don't need to separate, think of humans as the highest life form. We don't know that, but we do know that if we serve all of life, we'll be more in balance with life. And so I think that's the mantra that, Tina, that's the mantra Baba gave us right there, serve life. And I think also I'd just like to say that what Sita was talking about to me meant, as soon as we feel we know something, we want to spread it to the world. And with Sita's dream, she's letting it steep, letting it develop and become richer. And when she's ready, then she'll share it. So sometimes we just let things steep within us before we want to tell everybody else what to do, how to be. Mm-hmm. Let it steep.
Okay. And I'm also reminded of the tree. He was always talking about the people tree with the roots up in the air and the coming down into the body. And the mantra Om Haidakhandi is sort of that whole concept of the people tree. Om Namah Shivaya works the chakras, so you're working the elemental body, up through the chakras. But Om Haidakhandi starts up here. It starts coming down to the heart. And so Om Haidakhandi keeps you up in the top chakras, in the up in the human realm, beyond the animal realm. And so you've got, and it's one of probably my favorite Panchagama. There's so many Panchagamas. You got Hare Krishna, you got
Sasha, you're making a perfect segue for in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about mantras. And I think this would be great. And also now I've sort of started an email group with everybody. I think also posting things like Gayatri, what you shared, I wanted you to say it again, what you read from Mina this morning, these kind of things of sharing it ahead of time so we can sort of talk about it and digest it. So I'm going to ask you to wait more on the mystery of Haidakhandi, Om Haidakhandi, Om Namah Shivaya. And I really
Good,
want to
very
make
good.
sure Lolita gets heard because we sort of bypass, you were very enthusiastic after Gayatri spoke.
Yes, I was done. I was dancing. Yes. I was dancing because whatever she said made me figure out something which I was wondering for so long. Like when Gayatri said that what would Earth be like if humans are not around. So first thing they won't be discussing what love was, because every other being on this earth would be, busy being love, and that too without expectations. Like birds, they bring their kids up and then the kids fly away and they don't expect them to come back and take care of them or take care of relatives and pay the bills and everything. Like they all spend their lives, share their love with the nature, like a butterfly kisses a flower, you know and love propagates. It spreads all around. And 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 I had heard it somewhere. I've heard it many a places, in many documentaries, that humans are from somewhere else and we were put here for learning something for some purpose. Maybe that is what we were supposed to learn, that how to be. That is what that is what struck me immediately, and I started dancing. Oh my god, maybe it is so simple and we make it too complicated. Maybe all this spirituality and everything it is just so simple that it's difficult to understand. That is what struck me. And one more thing, when we were talking about Baba being a mirror to what we were. Baba said, I am a mirror, and he also said, I am you. That means we all are mirrors. We all, whatever emotion we are projecting is actually we are mirroring our own emotion in the person who is, we are acting as a mirror. Their emotions are projecting in us and our emotions are projecting in them. I don't know, maybe I'm confused, but the thing is, if Baba is a mirror and he is us, then we all are mirrors too. And then we need to keep the mirrors clean so that we can reflect the light of love. That is what came to my mind. I hope it makes some sense.
Thank you, Kristen.
I love you all.
Thank you, Lolita.
Beautiful, Lolita, beautiful.
And thank you. And Gayatri, will you read what you read from Meena early on? I think it was from Meena. Or do you still have it in front of you? Because I really love that so much too.
I just typed it in the chat.
Okay. Well, read it anyways, because I have a hard time with that.
Nishta leads to bhakti. Bhakti, when mature, becomes bhava. Oh, I did that wrong. I typed that wrong. Not brava, bhava. Bhava, when concentrated, becomes mahabhava. What? Something typed through my hands. What did it say? Mahabharata. It auto-corrected. I'm so sorry. Bhava, when concentrated, becomes mahabhava. And last of all is prem. Prema is like a cord. By prema, God is bound to the devotee. He can no longer run away. Yeah, I'll send it to you because that it's in the Hargovind chat, but it auto-corrected somehow.
Yeah.
It's Mahabharata. Okay, there's a message there.
At the highest level, it's more.
Yes, I know. Yes, so anyway, forget that. Okay, let's just delete that because that is not true. Anyway, no, it's not serious autocorrect. Anyway, I'm gonna okay, now let's do it serious. I'll get it from the phone. Nishta, which I'd never even heard of, Nishta, leads to bhakti. Bhakti, when mature, becomes bhava. Bhava, when concentrated, becomes Mahabhava. And last of all is Prema. Prema is like a cord. By Prema, God is bound to the devotee. He can no longer run away. And then underneath, it has the definition, Nishta is devotion and allegiance. Bhava is emotion. Mahabhava is the supreme emotion and quintessence of Prema, pure love. Sri Ramakrishna. That's from Sri Ramakrishna.
Lovely.
Beautiful. Really beautiful, huh?
So we have these beautiful gifts, like the chanting and the mantras that help us come to that space from time to time, hopefully. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And in 2 weeks, we will be talking more about mantras and where we go with that. And some of the more, Sastraji gave us a lot of teachings on that. So share them in the chat ahead of time, and we'll reconvene in 2 weeks. And I think we have some Baba that's going to go on from Mahalakshmi. Are you going to sing for us to end today?
Sure, I'll give you a head nod to say yes. I love the head nod. It's really great.
My kids always called it the wobble head.
Oh, okay. So I'll do the, what's the name of it? It's Mahamrityunjaya. Did I say that right?
Close enough. Triambakam.
How do you say it?
I say
Mrityunjaya. Yeah, Triambakam. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritatum Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritatum Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya.
Baba Ki Jai. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Love everyone.
Ramluti.
Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai.
I would like to sing 2 lines on love.
Sure.
Yeah. तुम प्रेम हो, तुम प्रीत हो, मेरी धड़कनों का गीत हो. तुम प्रेम हो, तुम प्रीत हो, मनमीत हो, कान्हा मेरे मनमीत हो. That's it. Thank you. That means Krishna is love. He is love. He is compassion, and he is my beloved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bole Baba ki jai.
Jai.
Bole Baba ki jai.